Hello and welcome to 50 Fabulous Knits. My name is Pia. This channel is my happy place where I get to talk about yarn and knitting. And I am, of course, so very happy that you are joining me here today. Today is a lovely day here in Italy. It's warm, but it's not hot. This night we had a massive thunderstorm, so everything is it just feels crisp and nice and clean. So I was able to actually wear one of my woolen sweaters. And woolen sweater that's probably a bit much. It is this very light and airy top. It's my own design. It's called First Snow. And it is knit out of a wonderful yarn. It's from one of our Danish hand dyers by Killarek, and the base is called Besk 400. It's baby alpaca, silk and cashmere, and it's a fingering weight 400 meters per 100 grams. And I used the undyed base as my main color, and then the black colorway as my contrasting color. And yeah, perfect for a day like today. I will also say that this was a lot of fun to knit. I think I need to knit myself another one because there's a lot of interest to it, at least in the beginning. I mean, once you're past the yoke, it's TV knitting, but that's fine too. But up here on the yoke, first you have these little triangles where you put your increases. Then you have the crossover stitches hiding more increases, and then the color work and another set of crossover stitches. So a lot of fun. I would actually like to knit myself one in a little bit heavier yarn, maybe a sport weight, maybe the yarn that I got at the McKinney Knittery last time. And then make it long sleeved so that I would have a more wintry sweater. But yeah, for today, this version of First Snow is absolutely perfect. I really wanted to have a finished object to show here today. And I would have had that if I didn't have to knit this sleeve 3 times. I mean, if I had just knitted once, I would have knitted the sleeve, the other sleeve, and I would still have time to spare. But yeah, that's not how it worked. I got a lot of knitting out of my yarn, let's just say that. But this is a new design that is gonna come out for the fall. I don't have a name for it yet. If you have the perfect name, I'll gift you the pattern. So let me know in the comments below. But yeah, it is this very, very oversized sweater with just a simple rib pattern and a V-neck with a folded over ribbing in here. And then I have played around with sleeve construction because I love my sweaters oversized. I mean, returning viewers will know that I love my sweaters oversized. What I don't love is that on many oversized sweaters, the hem will drop at the sides because of this lots of fabric. I wanted to avoid that, and also I wanted to create like an illusion of a batwing sleeve without having all the problems that comes with a batwing sleeve. Like if you're wearing a jacket, your sleeve will end up here and your sweater will end up here and you'll be cold and uncomfortable. So I've been playing around with those things and I am actually quite happy with the result that I've gotten. It doesn't show when I just hold it up like this, so I'm gonna put a photo where you can see me wearing it. It's not the world's best photo, but I hope that you can see what I'm talking about. The yarn that I am using for this one is lovely. It's baby alpaca and silk. I love drapey yarns, and both alpaca and silk are heavy fibers. So this yarn is very drapey. I love when the fabric just folds around the body and maybe blurs out some of the curves. I'm here for it. I also knitted up at a very loose gauge. It's a sport weight yarn that I actually knit up to a gauge of 19 stitches per 10 centimeters. So it's a very, very light fabric, but still warm from the alpaca fibers. So yeah, I foresee this being a favorite in my autumn winter wardrobe. The yarn, I need to say more about the yarn, of course. It is yarn that was gifted to me by the hand dyer who was also behind this yarn, by Kilarek. And it is her alpaca silk sport weight base and this colorway. And the reason why I loved it so much that I just needed to have it, the colorway is called November. November is my favorite month of the year. I love November. This massive beauty of October is kind of gone. The leaves, they fell. They changed. It was beautiful. Now they fell. So the trees are just there, all bare, and everything is so heavy with the moisture, and the sky is beautiful in November with all the nuances of gray. I love my grays. Plus, also in November, you can have a lot of Christmas fun without it being, I mean, in December can be really, really busy. November is never busy. You can just go about your Christmas business. So yeah, I love November. That was a long rant about November. I love November. So when I saw that she had a colorway named November and it was as beautiful as this, of course, I needed to work with it. I am in love with this sweater. I cannot wait to finish it tonight. For sure, I will finish the other sleeve. It's a super quick knit. Last Friday, when I recorded my Danish podcast, I had only just casted it on. And as I said, if I had been able to do my math properly, I would have been done with it now. So I can easily knit up the sleeve tonight. And then I can bring it in a couple of weeks when we go to Denmark for a little family vacation. It'll be perfect for that. And now I have fiber in my nose. I apologize. I have knit on so many different projects, which is probably also part of the reason for me not finishing anything. That's how it goes. The first thing that I have been working on, I have shown it a million times. It is my Scrappy Shawl. And just in case that someone did not see the Scrappy Shawl before, this is a work in progress, a design in progress. But yeah, the Scrappy Shawl has all these stripes of scraps, and it grows up until the point where these wings are really long, and then I'm gonna fill out the square between the wings with a big piece of lace in just one color. And on my last podcast, I was saying how I wanted to finish this because I loved working on the lace. It's such an easy pattern, and it was fun. something happens to my knitting if I'm knitting either stripes or patterns with short repeats. I'm like, one more repeat. I just want to, just one more. I just want to finish this. I just want to start this. So I get a lot of knitting done typically. But the thing is, after knitting this portion of the lace, I could see that I was gonna run out of yarn. The yarn that I am using for this lace section is also from a Danish hand dyer. This is from A Knitter's World. It is on her yak sock base, and the colorway is called Shadow. And I love this colorway. It could have been called Pia. I really love it. But I could tell this is not going to be enough to finish that lace. So I immediately put down the knitting and contacted the dyer. And I was so lucky. Not only did she have one skein left of this base, and she was willing to dye it up for me in the colorway Shadow, but also she was going on vacation in Italy, pretty close to me, so she's gonna bring the extra skein for me. So next week I'm gonna meet up with her. I can't wait to meet her. We've never met in person, but she seems so lovely when I watch her podcast, and we've chatted online. So I can't wait to see her, and I can't wait to get my hands on an extra skein. And I have kept quite a lot of this so that I can helix knit it for a while, just in case that there are going to be changes in the color. Probably there are, because these are hand-dyed yarns. There will be changes. So I think I'm good. I think I'm gonna be able to make it without ripping out all of the lace that I already knit. So that is definitely one thing that I am really looking forward to. I have also worked, not a lot, but a little bit on my Aurora sweater. And yeah, I published the pattern for the Aurora 1-2 weeks ago, something like that. I started out knitting up a gray version, but then I got this beautiful, beautiful yarn at the McKinney Knittery. They're my yarn pushers. I got this yarn, less traveled yarn. It's merino worsted, a superwash merino worsted weight, and the colorway is called Pumpkin Spice. And it's glorious. And it's so not me. I was just talking about how I love all the grays. It's so not me. It's not like anything else that I own. But I love it. So I decided to knit another Aurora with this yarn, and just look at it. Isn't it just beautiful? And yeah, I'm impressed at the dye works. I did not helical knit this. When I ran out of a skein, I just added another skein and knitted away, and you can't tell where that has happened. Amazing dye job and beautiful color. And this sweater is just gonna be so, so pretty and so not me. And I'm gonna love it dearly, because it will be so different than anything else I own. So yeah, I definitely want to put in some more work on that, because it's pretty. And I get so happy when knitting with that glorious orange color. But I was sidetracked, as you are, mainly by my new design, but also I wanted to work on my Shifty pullover, because that has been on my needles for quite a while, and I think now it's time for me to finish that one. So I actually put in quite a lot of work. I am well past the yoke, knitting into the body. I think I need another, what, 10, 15 centimeters on the body, and then I can knit the sleeves. And I am loving this project. It is so much fun. The stitch pattern is so simple and easy, but with the color changing yarn, it's just wow. And I am actually having a lot of fun managing my yarn. Ideally, I should just knit away, but I can't. I need to control it. So I am having a lot of fun managing my collars. I just break the yarn and spit splice it when I want to start at another section, another collar. So yeah, the yarn that I am using for my Shifty is this. It is a beautiful Latvian wool, untreated. It is rough, it is rustic, it is toothy, it is all the things, and I love it. It's absolutely amazing. It's so much fun to knit with, and I'm sure that it's gonna be wonderful to have on my person. This is probably not a sweater that I would wear with nothing underneath. It's gonna be, there's gonna be some tactile sensation connected to the wearing of this sweater, but that does not bother me. I am happy to put on a t-shirt or a regular shirt and wear it with that. It is gorgeous. Plus, it is super budget friendly. My Shifty is gonna cost me just under €50, $50. And that's a very fair price. I think we can all agree. So yeah, happy to be working on my Shifty, hoping to get it off my needles and on my person very soon. The last thing that I have been working on is something that returning viewer will have heard me talk about at great length ever since, what, winter, early spring, something like that. It is living in my new project bag, which is not a project bag. This is just a handbag that I found. As soon as I saw it, I was like, no, that's my knitting bag. Look, it snaps close up here, has the perfect size, gorgeous leather, and yeah, it came with a chain, but I put in a leather cord instead, and then I bought this strap for it. My summer bag, because it can hold a knitting project, and I can just pop my credit card and my phone in there, and I'm good to go with only one bag. I love that. Anyway, the project in there, and some of you might have already guessed that, is my Mini Max shawl. Ever since I knit my Mini Max blanket out of my minis from the advent calendar that I had, I knew that I wanted to make a shawl in the same pattern. I also knew that I wasn't gonna hold the merino with mohair as I did in the blanket. I would just use fingering weight merino on its own. And I would use fewer colors just because when it goes on my person, I don't want too many colors. Yeah. And then I cast on and I started knitting. And I made a mistake, which made the triangles here all wonky. And I loved the wonkiness, but it was a little bit too wonky. So I was working on making it less wonky, but still a little bit wonky, because that was just, I loved how the yarn was just playing, the colors were dancing with each other. Yeah, so finally, now I know how I'm gonna create my Minimax shawl. And this is, as I also planned it, it is perfect summer knitting because it is light, it is no mohair. Sunscreen and mohair is such a bad combo. I don't even have words for it. It's a smaller project because just like the blanket, it is knit in panels. So it is very easy to just pop in your bag and bring with you. And I have been knitting on this in cafes, in restaurants, on the beach, at the lake, everywhere. This is just perfect. I am absolutely loving working on it. So the only reason it hasn't grown more is because when we've been at home, I have been focusing on the bigger projects. But it is nice to know that I have something small, portable, and super fun to knit on when we're gonna be out and about, which the next couple of weeks is gonna be a lot about being out and about. That was it for the knitting content this week. Lots of WIPs, nothing finished, but knowing myself, I am probably soon gonna be hit by finishitis. That's typically how it works here. I will get a case of cast-on-itis. I will cast on all the things and I will be happily knitting away on multiple projects, and then all of a sudden I'm like, no, I want to finish things. I want to cast this off. I want to be wearing the things. So I can feel it coming. I can feel that I'm so ready to have a lot of my projects off the needles. So I don't have a lot of knitting time this next week. We're gonna, well, a week ago we said goodbye to our oldest son and his family. They're going back to Texas. But tomorrow our youngest son and his family are coming. So we're gonna have a lot of fun with them. Not a lot of knitting time, but that's quite okay. That's probably the only thing that I will happily trade knitting time for is grandchild time. So anyway, I really hope that wherever you are in the world, you're enjoying life. I hope you have something great to knit on. If not, cast on something. There are so many great ideas. I will see you again in 2 weeks. Until then, happy knitting.